90% of investors fail. Not because they're dumb, because they think wrong. The rich, they don't follow trends, they build systems. In this video, you'll discover the mindset that turns chaos into control. Plan, power, freedom. Every day, millions of people open trading apps chasing the same dream, freedom. Yet within months, most end up trapped in the same cycle. Buy high, sell low, repeat. Not because the market hates them, but because their minds were never trained for volatility. The wealthy face the same charts, the same headlines, the same panic, but they win by design, not by chance. They invest with intention, patience, and rules so clear that emotion has no room to negotiate. Their secret isn't timing the market, it's mastering themselves. In the next few minutes, you'll see exactly how that mastery works. Why 90% stay poor, how the rich rewire their thinking, and how a single shift from reaction to structure creates exponential freedom. Stay until the end, because the moment you understand how they think, you'll realize wealth isn't about finding the next big stock. It's about building the next version of you. You'll discover why 90% stay poor, how the rich rewire their thinking, and the shift that leads to freedom. Clear, believable, immediate. The wrong mind versus the right system. If you've ever opened a trading app and felt your pulse rise with every green or red candle, congratulations, you're human. The market is designed to manipulate your biology. Every flicker of price triggers the same chemicals that controlled your ancestors' fight or flight reflex. When the chart turns red, your brain screams danger. When it turns green, it whispers safety. And that's the first reason most investors stay poor. They let a 200-million-year-old survival instinct control a 21st century financial decision. The rich, they learn to rewire that instinct. They don't fight emotion, they structure it. 1. The poor investor's loop. The average investor's life looks like this. Excitement, arrow, risk, arrow, loss, arrow, doubt, arrow, revenge, trade. They believe knowledge is the cure, so they binge news, join trading groups, and chase every new strategy that promises 10 times returns. But here's the truth. Information doesn't make you wealthy. Interpretation does. In 2020, millions jumped into the market during the lockdown boom. Most treated investing like entertainment, chasing meme stocks because everyone else was doing it. Some won briefly, but nearly all lost when the wave reversed. The pattern is timeless. Greed at the top, fear at the bottom. The market is just a mirror showing who you really are. The next time you feel FOMO, remember, if you're excited, someone richer is selling to you. 2. The rich investor's countermove, plan. For the rich, a plan isn't a spreadsheet, it's a philosophy. It answers 3 questions before a cent is invested. What is my goal? What is my time horizon? What behavior will destroy this plan fastest? Warren Buffett's rule is simple. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. That single sentence is worth more than any trading course. The wealthy craft their plans like architects. Each pillar supports the next. Cash flow, allocation, risk, compounding. They don't need constant excitement. They need endurance. And because their plan already includes downturns, they treat crashes as routine, not tragedy. In 2008, while panic dominated headlines, Buffett wrote, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." He wasn't predicting. He was obeying his plan. The lesson is brutal. If you don't design your plan, someone else's emotions will design it for you. 3. The power of process over prediction, power. After the plan comes power. Not power over the market, but power over yourself. Ray Dalio built Bridgewater Associates into one of the world's largest funds by treating decisions like experiments. He created Principles, a book of algorithms for human behavior. When his team disagrees, they use data to decide, not ego. That's institutionalized emotional control. You might not run a hedge fund, but you can use the same rule. System greater than emotion. If you know what to do before the chaos, chaos becomes your employee. The poor investor says, "I'll sell when it feels right." The rich investor says, "I'll sell when my data tells me risk has changed." Power is discipline in motion. It's setting automatic contributions when markets fall. It's refusing to celebrate too early when they rise. It's trusting math more than mood. The strongest investor isn't the one who wins every trade. It's the one who never needs to. 4. The Mind Rewire, Building the Rich Psychology. Every wealthy investor eventually faces the same paradox. Once you control your money, you realize the game was never about money. Charlie Munger once said, "The first rule of compounding, never interrupt it unnecessarily." That rule isn't just about finance, it's about focus. Poor investors interrupt compounding constantly, of capital and of wisdom. They jump from strategy to strategy, from crypto to options to real estate, chasing excitement. The rich stick to one philosophy until it becomes identity. Their secret weapon is boredom. They find joy in consistency. They understand that markets reward patience disguised as inactivity. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Boredom is the tax you pay for extraordinary results. 5. The shift from emotion to equation. At some point, the wealthy stop asking, "Is this risky?" and start asking, "Is this repeatable?" That single shift turns chaos into control. They know they can't control prices, only decisions. They track probabilities, not predictions. They act from frameworks, not feelings. When they lose, they learn. When they win, they replicate. That's how wealth compounds, not linearly, but mentally. And that's where the word power earns its full meaning. It's the ability to stay consistent while everyone else resets their strategy. In 2022, while retail investors fled the market, Buffett quietly spent billions buying high-quality businesses at discounts. The difference wasn't capital. It was conviction born from planning and power. When fear rises, the rich read. When greed rises, they write rules. Which one are you? 6. The transition to freedom. You might be wondering, so what happens when you finally master this? That's where Act 3 begins. The point where control becomes freedom. Because freedom isn't an accident. It's the dividend of discipline. It's not luck, it's leverage. Psychological first, financial second. When you follow a clear plan long enough, power becomes peace. You stop reacting to markets and start responding to life. That's the hidden win the poor never see, because they quit before compound behavior compounds results. Plan, power, freedom. 3 simple words that describe the entire mindset of wealth. What does freedom look like? It's time to find out. The climax. From control to freedom. The turning point for every successful investor isn't when they make their first million. It's when they realize they no longer need to watch the market to feel safe. That's freedom. The quiet power of knowing your system works even when you sleep. But freedom doesn't start in your portfolio. It starts in your perspective. 1. The freedom equation. The poor believe freedom comes after wealth. The rich know freedom is what creates wealth. For most people, money is emotional oxygen. They chase it to feel alive. But the rich see money as a servant, not a savior. Their goal isn't to earn more, it's to depend less. Freedom begins when your identity stops depending on your net worth. Because once your decisions are no longer emotional, your returns become exponential. That's what separates the reactive from the resilient. 2. The compound mind. The magic of compounding doesn't only apply to money, it applies to thinking. Each time you act with discipline, you earn invisible interest. At first it feels pointless. Nobody notices you buying the same ETF for the 50th time. Nobody claps when you sit out the hype. But that's how freedom compounds. Silently, invisibly, inevitably. Every disciplined action deposits credibility into your future self. And one day, that credibility pays dividends bigger than any trade ever could. 3. The real definition of wealth. Wealth isn't what you can buy. It's what you can understand without fear. When markets crash, the poor see disaster, the rich see opportunity. Because wealth is never about ownership, it's about awareness. Warren Buffett once said, "The best investment you can make is in yourself." That quote isn't motivational fluff. It's a mathematical truth. When you expand your understanding, you expand your control. When you expand your control, you expand your options. And options, not money, are the true currency of freedom. 4. The hidden luxury. People love to show wealth. The rich prefer to feel it. The real luxury isn't cars, watches, or vacations. It's waking up without anxiety about your future. It's having a portfolio that grows while you're offline. It's silence. Because your system speaks louder than your emotions. The rich don't chase the market. They design environments that protect focus. They own fewer things but think at higher resolution. They've learned that clarity is the ultimate status symbol. The richest feeling on earth isn't luxury, it's control. 5. The freedom shift. Freedom isn't granted, it's earned by repetition. You start by building a plan, not for a day, but for a decade. You reinforce it with power, discipline that makes the irrational irrelevant. And eventually, those two combine to form freedom, the ability to live by design, not reaction. That's when investing becomes effortless, almost spiritual. Because you're no longer chasing returns, you're expressing mastery. The poor chase certainty. The rich create systems that make uncertainty profitable. They don't hope for calm seas, they build stronger ships. Here's the truth no one tells you. The greatest market in the world isn't the New York Stock Exchange. It's the one inside your mind. Every thought is a trade, every decision compounds, and every reaction either buys freedom or sells it. You don't need to be born rich to win in the market. You just need to start thinking like those who already have. Think long-term when others think fast. Plan when others guess. Stay calm when others panic. Because in the end, wealth isn't a number. It's a mindset. Plan gives you structure. Power gives you control. Freedom gives you life. And that's how the rich win. Not because they're lucky, but because they learn to think right.